Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Vires versus Shen Ulti. Once again, my name is Nature, and once again, I'm joined by Rapid. Now, this is the second game in this best of 3 series. The first game was very interesting with 3 Baron steals, and that is probably the reason we are looking forward as much as we were to the very first game to the second game.
What really stood out for me in game number 1 is that people are more familiar with the CLG.eu team, now Vires, and really were the favorites going into that. And for the first 15 minutes of the game, Shen Ulti won every single lane. They destroyed Mazarin mid, even just in 1v1s. Has had a few issues there with H7, who was huge, who's a huge factor all game long for Shen Ulti. But coming in here, picks and bans. Game number 2, it's a whole new field out there. Evelyn, Orianna, and Shyvana, heavy pressure in the jungle, really trying to ban Lunir out.
Yeah, I believe we had quite different bans last game, and of course there you have it. The Ziggs slipping through the bans, being picked up almost immediately by H7. On the other side, Coralius, of course, going for the Annie, and we do have Lunir, who might just decide a little, try and think about it a little longer, as he will be locking in the Annie, and the Lucian is getting hovered over here by Coralius, who just switched the Annie out for the Lucian. It would not surprise me too much for him to be picking up the Lucian, and there you have it. Now remember, I am watching from stream, so I might be a little bit behind.
It's true, and Annie Lucian, it's about the strongest lane that you can get right now, but that is assuming that Sivir's banned. She's not banned, and so why you don't just automatically lock that Sivir pick in, I do not know. Sivir with the highest win rate of any champion ever in League of Legends. Well, not ever, but for right now. I have to think back and use all the OP champions that we used to see. Man, I remember the days when you could just like teleport everywhere with Twisted Fate, but gone they are. We're here in Season 4, so it's a new day dawning on some new champions that you'll be seeing. One of those being Ziggs, locked in by H7. Immediately, first ban out on the field there for from Vires in game number 1. Made it through, and H7 really happy to get that champion.
Yeah, and I feel like Vires knew this, because the moment you let Ziggs through, you know H7 is going to pick that Ziggs up because it's such a highly contested champion. And on the other side, we do have, on the other hand, however, we do have Crusoe's picking up the Lee Sin once again, and Say picking up the Ezreal, which we do not see a whole lot of these days. But then again, he might just make something happen really miraculous, if you will, as Deadly Brother right now hovering over the Cho'Gath, and Mazarin looking for the Rengar.
Alright, yeah, so he switches the Cho'Gath at the last second to a Vi. No surprises there, because Lunir did play that in the last game, so I wanted the Cho'Gath, man. I was thinking all the way back to Season 2, even like some of the early Season 3, Cho'Gath and Amumu were top-tier jungle picks, but then they kind of died, and in the case of Amumu, he died twice, but it's just really rough to see the way that junglers sort of cycle in and out. Like, if you're good with these junglers, it doesn't work if they all of a sudden don't fit the meta. And what does fit the meta are Lee Sin and Vi, both very highly mobile, great early gankers, a lot of early pressure, and you just saw that from Crusoe's, man. He gets back on his Lee Sin, a comfort pick. One of the Dragon Steal, or one of the Baron Steals rather, came from him smiting it away from Lunir. So you gotta know there's some comfort picks here this time around for Shen Ulti.
Yeah, and the Lunir was on his Vi last game around as well, so that is almost going to be the same matchup in the jungle as we had last game. Now, speaking about matchup, Adams is looking to pick up the Olaf, which has been quite a popular pick in that top lane as well, and he will be locking that one in, as will Mopsio, as he locks in the Thresh, which will result in a Ezreal Thresh bottom lane. On the other side, MSLO not quite decided yet what champion he's going to take, but I would imagine he is going to pick up himself a mid laner.
I mean, I would hope so. I've seen mid lane Vi before. I think it was Shushe on Dragonborns that played that in the first split of LCS while Dragonborns were in it, but don't think we'll be seeing that this time around. And it should be, what are we going to look to see the counter here for that Ziggs? Is it going to be Ahri? Because in game number 1, I mean, I wasn't convinced by Mazarin's Ahri. It had a great late game performance, and it did land a clutch charm on to Mupsio, but this time around, Mupsio is going to be a lot harder to catch on Ezreal, so I don't know. He's going to go for it again. Mazarin on that Ahri. Will it work as well? Or will H7 have such a strong laning presence against Mazarin as he had in game number 1?
Yeah, so everyone starts switching out the champions to the respective people who are going to play on those. As you said, Mazarin might just want to step up his game. Now, in the end, last game, he did manage to crawl back and win the game with his team, of course. Now, for now, it is looking like... well, I'm not too sure what team is looking a little stronger when it comes to compositions, because both teams just really have these really strong compositions. But then I feel like I have to question the Ezreal, because it seems like Sivir is is a lot more stronger at this point in the game.
Yeah, I'm really questioning the Ezreal too, but at the same time, for Mupsio, when you get hit by that charm on Lucian and you almost lose your team the game right then and there, you have to go with a little bit more safety. He's really scared about getting taken out, and while Sivir does answer that with the double spell shield build that we saw in the last game, I mean, that would be the choice for me. But man, Mupsio, he dominated that bottom, or he dominated the team fights early on, but then just could not stand up to Deadly Brother. And now that Deadly Brother's got one of the most dominant AD carries in the current meta right now in Lucian, and it's a Lucian Annie bottom lane, you don't get a lot better than that. It's going to be definitely a lane to watch. We'll see if Mupsio, if that was the right choice for him to go for that Ezreal, but we also have to keep an eye on that mid lane and watch out for Mazarin, who didn't have a good game number 1. See if he can bring it back in game number 2 versus H7.
Yeah, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we will be heading into a quick commercial break once again. When we come back, it is Vires versus Shen Ulti, game number 2. Which team might just take that? Which team might just advance in the Chaos TV Challenger Series qualifications? You're just about to find out, so don't go anywhere.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the US Challenger Series qualifiers here on Chaos TV. I am Rapid. I'm here with Nature, and we're here to guide you through game number 2. And if this game has as many Baron steals as game number 1 had, we'll be here for a while.
We will be indeed, as we might just they might just try and break the record we hit last game around, because 3 Baron steals in one game, with one of which was by just an orb of deception, is quite uncommon, if you will. Now, both teams fanning out here a little bit, no real aggression. You have a ward coming out of Say to maybe detect Alanir from ganking that middle lane, but no real aggression for now.
All right, so for right now, like you said, no real aggression. Both teams just kind of sitting up on their own sides of the jungle. Possible invade here from Shen Ulti if they want to go for a late red buff invade, but there's plenty of strength there right there to meet them. And so overall, very safe start for both teams. Something kind of interesting for me are the way that the trinkets worked out. In game number 1, we saw them split with 1 for each support, and then an extra 1 picked up, I believe it was on the top laner for Shen Ulti. And now it's actually going to be a Lunir who, with his start there, will be able to take out a ward just barely before he starts off his jungle route, which does look like both junglers starting at their reds.
No ward on the side of the Ultra Vires team right there. And as you said, Crusoe's picking up the red. And on the other side, Alanir picking up his red. No lane swaps, it's looking like for now. Oh, we might have Mopsio in trouble. Stun comes out. A lot of damage coming down on him. He is trying to get away desperately. Little bit more damage coming out. Flay. Perfectly placed. That will deter Deadly Brother from following up on Mopsio. He takes a lot of damage himself. He's now desperately trying to get away. Ignite is sticking. First blood goes to Shen Ulti, and that is a double kill for them as Crusoe's finish off Coralius as well.
It's the Tribush cheese. You have to watch out for it. You can't just walk straight into lane without a ward there. And it was, they paid the price. Going for it means that you have to make sure that you know what side of the jungle the jungler's starting out. Because you saw the red buff from Crusoe's. He got the buff, he came down immediately, and it was just way too much to handle. Deadly Brother started out with a very good engage, a lot of damage on Mopsio, but then he tried to press that advantage, and, well, you saw there 2 kills very early on, both go over to Crusoe's.
Yeah, a little bit of overstaying his welcome right there. Now, I'm not too sure how Mazarin is going to fare against this H7, because, as you said, that Ziggs is so dominant lately in the middle lane, and the Ahri not so much. So we're about to see why that is, I assume, as Alanir is just continuing quite a standard jungle path. Meanwhile, Crusoe's maybe looking for a gank here. Adam's clearing out those wards, and he does know that Deadly Brother does not have his flash up, meaning he can probably quite easily take the kill. Now, Deadly Brother has got his relentless pursuit as Crusoe's comes in, gets spotted out by a ward, and no deaths quite happening yet.
All right, so we already questioned if that Ezreal pick was going to work out, and even though he didn't pick up any kills, it's 2 assists there for both Adams and Mopsio. So even if it was going to have a little bit of a rough time, a little bit padded there at the beginning with an extra longsword in lane, so won't be able to trade out too many things. For now, we're going to see a lot of damage on the Mopsio.
Yeah, Mopsio comes in with the Dark Passage once again. Deadly Brother taking a lot of damage, will not quite be finished off as Coralius blocks off the attacks. Now he might be in trouble himself. Does deter Adams and Mopsio following up. In the middle lane, however, we did have H7 dying. Alanir did come in there and gank, and Mazarin will be picking that kill up.
Shouldn't be too much of note happening now. As H7 does die there in the middle lane, we're already seeing a change from game number 1. Game number 1, the bottom lane was extremely strong for Sorry, cut out there for a second. Bottom lane, extremely strong for Ultra Vires, and the mid lane was actually really strong for Shen Ulti. This time around, it's backwards, and so already with a different start to the game, could this change the number of Barons that are stolen?
We're going to have and see, as Say is right now farming under his turret. His turret takes a little bit of damage, and BSLow is doing a good job of keeping Say under pressure and making sure Say doesn't quite get too much farm, as he is sitting on 39, and BSLow is actually sitting on 33, which is quite odd if you ask me. But then again, these are players that know what they're doing, and Say is probably quite proficient at farming under his turret. Now, in the bottom lane, we do have Deadly Brother backing away. He is sitting on 300 gold, not too much, as he picks himself up boots of speed. And that will, of course, increase his movement speed, so he might just be able to dodge those kill shots of Mupsio's a little more often, with which he did have a little bit of trouble last time around.
Yeah, dodging going to be very, very important, especially for Deadly Brother down there in the bottom lane. As he started out behind, he's gone double Doran's Blades, very defensive start, stalls out your later items, whereas for Mupsio, he's already working towards that Trinity Force with the Ruby Crystal as well as a Longsword picked up on top of that starting Doran's Blade.
In the top lane, we saw a little bit of a gank come out of Crusoe's, who tried and pressure NBSLow, but NBSLow shrugged it off, did not really care, and turned that around, as the heal of his is proving to be a little bit too dangerous for Crusoe's, and NBSLow will just be laughing it off, I believe, and he is heading towards that middle lane, so that might prove to be dangerous for H7, as NBSLow has gone in stealth. Now, he doesn't want to get too close to the turrets, and he doesn't go in there in the end, as Pulse H7 rather probably sniffed him out.
Yeah, and he's still gonna be there. Actually lands the stun. There's the charm to follow.
Yeah, Pulse does manage to get out, but it's not quite enough, as the Ignite will take him down in the end. And that is yet another kill for that middle lane, this time picked up by NBSLow, however. And meanwhile, in the jungle, we do see Alanir almost getting caught. He did not quite manage to steal the red buff, as Crusoe's did manage to get that one himself. Alanir rotating over towards that middle lane, might try and help Mazarin take down that turret or not, as he is going over towards that blue buff, which might just respawn in a second here, I believe. And we do have Kralius and Deadly Brother probably as usual facing off against Mopsio and Adams. In the bottom lane, not too much happening over there.
Something that's really cool to watch for me is the way that these ganks are set up. Sometimes, like we saw right there in the mid lane, not even by the jungler, as the roam there from NBS, which is way too much for Ziggs to handle. Now that's already a 0-2. It's at H7's turn to go with the triple Doran's ring start. Kind of taking a page there out of Mazarin's book. So while it will be rough very early on, Ziggs can kind of just sit there, try to just clear the wave out over and over again. And that's exactly what H7 is going to do, but will not be that huge source of strength that he was for Shen Ulti in game number 1.
And in the top lane, we do have Say and NBSLow butting heads against each other. No real casualties falling just yet, as both of the players are a little bit too tanky for each other to finish off fast. And meanwhile, in the middle lane, we do have a charm landing on H7. He gets blown up by Alanir. Yet another kill in that middle lane, but here is Crusoe. Doesn't quite manage to land the Sonic Wave. Alanir desperately trying to get out, does manage to flash over the wall. We did have the arcane, Trusha Barrage rather, coming across, but that did not quite manage to connect on Alanir either. So Alanir gets out, and as I said, yet another kill in the middle lane.
Oh, Crusoe's gonna catch on to Mazarin in the jungle, drops the damage, has the red buff on, gets slowed up by the charm, going in, does he have the dragon kick? There's the flash in, enough damage to take down Mazarin after just a face check into the jungle. Yeah,
that was unfortunate, really unfortunate for Mazarin right there. Crusoe's with the red buff proving too strong. Meanwhile, in the top lane, NBSLow is catching those undertows, which is quite dangerous, of course, as Crusoe's is doing a little bit of counter jungling in Alanir's jungle. That is something he can do, of course, because Alanir is forced to go over towards that middle lane to defend those minions, as Mazarin has died. Now MBSL might be in trouble. Here comes Crusoe's. Will he land the Sonic Wave? He does manage to get the creep off. Sonic Wave has landed, but that was a good flash out of NBSL.
And NBS actually got a lot of extra health back from that too, as he was able to use the Fury generated by Thrill of the Hunt to get another empowered battle roar that gave him 200 extra health. So he's just doing an incredible job sustaining up there in the top lane, but now Lunir going in.
Yeah, Adam's taking a little bit of, taking a lot of damage rather, as we did have Tibbers coming out. Corrales will be picking that Q up, as we do have Pulse taking a lot of damage as well. Mazarin not quite able to land the charm on H7 right there. Now they are rotating over towards that dragon area, and I don't think that would be too much of a problem, but they don't quite manage to spot out the ward.
Now it is going to be a dragon. Crusoe's, man, he's stolen bigger buffs, and there's actually going to be so much going in. The harder it is to smite a buff successfully, apparently the easier it is for a Lunir. He had to go up against a global ult from Ziggs and Ezreal, as well as a smite attempt from Crusoe's. Able to get it down, really looking to redeem himself from game number 1.
Yeah, indeed. Mazarin taking out the blue buff, rotating over towards that middle lane to restart the farming, if you will. Now we do have MBSL heading towards that top lane. Sei is one level behind him, as MBSL might start to pressure Sei here, but I don't think we are going to have any casualties falling for now. In the bottom lane, however, we do have Deadly Brother squaring off against 2 of his opponents, Mopsy and Adams, of course, as he is rejoined by Corrales. Stun is up, and they might try and go for something here, as the death sentence is not really connecting. Oh, Mopsio taking quite a lot of damage, actually.
Yeah, I was going to say, Mopsio actually loses a lot of these trades. I actually stun there onto Adams, and yeah, Mopsio just cannot trade back against this Lucian damage.
Yeah, Deadly Brother is proving a little bit too strong for Mopsio at this point, but he is looking to be backed up here by Crusoe's. As we have got the death sentence landing, Bucks coming out. Here's Crusoe's knocking Deadly Brother back. He will surely go down. Adams picks that one up. Now Corrales is in trouble, as he is forced to flash out. Crusoe's did not quite manage to land the Sonic Wave, as we do have Alanir lurking around the side to maybe make something happen, but Shen Ulti did back away already.
A wise disengage there. Could have followed up under the turret with that minion push. But Shen Ulti, man, they know exactly what they need to do. And that is get back to base, buy up some items. One of the reasons that Deadly Brother was doing so well against Mopsio is that he picked up the extra mana from the Sapphire Crystal before he went back into lane. So that's 400 gold not spent on damage. And especially with that Bam Scepter on there, along with the double Doran's Blades for Deadly Brother, he was feeling very confident and a little bit overconfident in the engage there from Shen Ulti. A little bit too strong now. Crusoe's once again finding out a Lunir, goes over the wall. Not sure that's a fight he wants to take.
No, a Lunir maybe a little bit too powerful for him, as well, it might just not have been too powerful for him, but Mazarin was rotating over to Alanir, and that would have proven to be quite the challenge for Crusoe's, which I don't think he could win. So Crusoe's in the end backing away wisely, if you'd ask me, and we did see, of course, Alanir able to live another day, and he will just be taking that red buff. And hold that thought for a second, because MBSL is roaming the jungle, and that might be dangerous for Shen Ulti.
Alright, you can just see the Ziggs ultimate there. Mega Inferno Bomb does double damage to minions now, just one-shotting that entire wave there in the middle lane. So if you get enough CDR on Ziggs, you can actually kill minion waves just with your ultimate. So you can essentially farm 2 lanes at once, which is cool if that's the strategy H7 wants to go with. We saw him taken down a lot early on. In fact, he has the identical score ratio versus Mazarin that Mazarin had versus him in game 1, down 0-3 to a 1-1-3. Deathfire Grasp completed about 10 minutes earlier. there for Mazarin, but takes the damage, lands a charm, and prevents the insect kick backwards there from Crusoes.
Great clutch charm right there out of Mazarin. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Death Sentence landing onto Deadly Brother. Deadly Brother does get hit by the True Shot Barrage. Doesn't quite go down. As right now, we do have Alanir joining them. He's trying to get a kill out of this, but he doesn't quite manage to do so in the end. And Coralius and Alanir will probably be pushing this lane out, or maybe rotating over towards that middle lane, where Crusoes is getting quite low. But I don't think he's in real trouble here.
In the mid lane, we also saw it engage by, I believe it was, now Eleanor there mid. But yeah, it was Crusoes in the mid lane trying to help out H7. He wasn't quite able to make it happen, as another huge charm there by Mazarin, just landing them right, left, and center. Top lane is probably not going to head up there very much more. Both top laners starting to get extremely tanky. They both have their Sunfire capes. At that point, it's just kind of like slapping each other with, I don't know, wet fish or something. It doesn't really work out very well. I was in Spuddington's absence, as he is off casting elsewhere. I felt the need to make what was my best attempt at like a British sounding joke. It didn't work very well, so his job at Chaos TV always intact.
All right, so Deadly Brother in a real British manner, if you will, almost getting knocked back there. Death Sentence not quite connecting. And here is Crusoes. That might prove dangerous for Coralius. Death Sentence, or the Dragon's Rage coming in there. Here's Alanir. Real long Assault and Battery coming on towards Mopsio. Coralius bites the dust. Mopsio now going to bite the dust as well. Alanir now trying to get away as Crusoes is tanking up that turret. He's getting chased down by Deadly Brother. Deadly Brother decides against it. In the end, Mazarin trying to flank around Crusoes. He runs in towards Crusoes, and Crusoes in a real danger. No problem, Mazarin. Shut down for him.
Popstar Ari's tour continues and able to pick up another kill. Casualty of that turret. I don't know if it's like a roadie, but top lane is going to be NBS versus Say. And yeah, they're just going to be whacking each other. Turns out axes and knives don't actually kill you when you whack somebody in the face. So League of Legends, a game of safety and apparently like rubber weapons. But top lane, it's going to be NBS sustaining off of the double golems, not actually looking for lifesteal from them, but is just going to be using them to get extra stacks of ferocity that he will turn into health with a powered battle roar.
And look at this. We actually have Vires taking down the dragon. That is, I believe, the second dragon of the game, as we did see them take the very first one as well. So they do extend their gold lead to around 3,000 gold. And Mazarin looking to take down that blue buff, no problem. That should be no problem for him. As in the top lane, MBS Lol gets a lot of health back because of his battle roars.
Yeah, just continual axe harass there from Say. No cooldown reduction to make that come out more often, but NBS is having a really hard time sustaining up there. And Crusoes, he's made it all the way to that second of the three bushes top lane. So if NBS comes back to lane off of just the health that he's going to get from these double golems, might not be enough. Mid lane.
Meanwhile, however, yeah, mid lane, I was just going to say, Mazarin picks up H7. Once again, another kill there. As we do have in the top lane, MBS Low going down to Crusoes. Action all over the board here. Crusoes picks that one up. Say looking to take down the turret as a result of that. But Mazarin, of course, looking to take down that middle lane maybe, as he does decide against it. In the end, Alanir in the top lane trying to chase down Say, lands the Volt Breaker as he is right now trying to chase him down. Gets some couple of good hits down on him, but then Say does manage to escape in the end.
Yeah, so nice kills on both sides of the map there. Mid, just the snowballing continues. Mazarin, he's having a breakout game. He's like, hey, game number one, let the rest of the team carry. But here in game two, he's putting the rest of the team in his back. And especially that bottom lane, Deadly Brother. He not only out-CS'd, but he also out-killed Mopsio in game number one. Now it's the exact way, other way around. So we have to see if we saw Deadly Brother just hard carry game number one, and then give. I think the really big thing was give Mazarin enough time to catch up. Game number two, now it's going to be Mazarin who's going to have to stall this game long enough for Deadly Brother to catch back up, or just be so strong that as soon as both teams start to group up, he is that big source of damage that the rest of his team needs. Mazarin diving through the turret. Makes a little bit of a scenic route back out.
Yeah, ooh. Trusha Barrage comes across, not really able to finish Mazarin off. Mazarin was actually forced out of there because of the Mega Inferno Bomb finishing off all the creeps that were protecting Mazarin from getting hit by the turret. So, as you said, good use of that Mega Inferno Bomb, which right now does double damage. As NBS LoL hanging on to a thread when it comes to defending this top tier 1 turret, which is almost gone down, but not really, but not just yet, as say pokes NBS LoL just a little bit more, and NBS LoL is really looking to not let those minions reach the turret. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, Corralius take a lot of damage. Adam's taking a lot of damage as well, as he does go down in the end. Corralius goes down as well. Mopsio, that is a double kill for Deadly Brother.
Double kill for Deadly Brother, finally getting some kills back under his belt. Trey's 2 for 1, so rest in peace, Corralius. He's going for that same sort of pseudo AP Annie, where he rushes out a Leandri's Torment. First, already has that Haunting Guise. There's a lot of penetration there with Sorcerer's Shoes. Bottom turret goes down, first turret of the game, taken at the 21-minute mark as the Lunir finds Crusoe's in the jungle.
Yeah, that is really... well, it doesn't really resemble the first game, if you will, where we did see turrets falling at, I believe, around 10 minutes already. And then a lot of turrets falling right after that. But, as you said, this game, the very first turret falling at a later stage in the game. That's 20 minutes, which is really late, especially compared to last game. But right now, Mazarin looking to pick up that second turret, so 2 turrets going over to Ultra Vires, and I believe they will be quite content with that, as Mazarin is heading over towards that top lane. Say might be in trouble, but he has to recognize the threat, as Mazarin has been spotted out by a ward.
Yeah, he did walk over a ward, so somewhat unfortunate, but still... Oh, and actually the ward placed outside the brush will be revealed by the pink ward Lunir did place in that little brush by Baron. Now, Crusoe's is on a ward. Gonna have to be careful. H7 is just looking to wave clear, man. That guy, he has a 15 CS lead, and that's cool and everything, but he's down 4 deaths, 3 kills, has a long way to go.
Yeah, he has got indeed the bottom lane. Mopsio trying to put as much pressure on towards that turret as possible. Deadly Brother trying to defend the turret, of course, as he will be able to finish off those minions and, well, defend his turret from going down. He did have the Mega Inferno Bomb coming through and clearing out those minions in the middle lane. Corralius will be picking up the farm as a result of that, as Mazarin comes in there and will be picking up the rest of the farm. We do have, I believe, 4 members of that Shen Ulti team rotating over towards the top side of the map. I'm not too sure what they're looking to do.
Tibbers coming down.
Yeah, Tibbers coming down. Crusoe's getting knocked out by the Assault Battery. Charm doesn't quite connect. Dragon's Rage does force Alanir out of there, and they do not quite continue on that say, now deterring NBS LoL from continuing on hammering down Adams, as Adams does survive in the end, and Mopsios is actually split pushing in that bottom lane.
Yeah, that's a big deal right now. Mopsio's gonna try to take down this bottom turret, probably will get the turret, but he's gonna lose the turret and lose his team. The team fight there up in that top lane. Middle turret is gonna be Deadly Brother going in on to H7. Gets some else from Crusoe's. There's actually the knockback from the Satchel charge. Deadly Brother makes it out alive.
Yeah, that was a close call, however, as that was quite a good satchel charge, and Crusoe did not quite manage to land the Sonic Wave. If he had done so, he might have been able to finish him off. Meanwhile, Mopsio trying to steal away this blue buff. Alanir is heading over there, so I don't think Mopsio is actually going to be able to do so. The dragon, however, might be something they will be able to pick up, as they are starting it off, and it will be smited out by Crusoe's. The Deadly Brother looking around the side. Mega Inferno Bomb comes through. That will be finishing off those minions in the middle lane, and Deadly Brother will just be gradually poking Say out of there.
Say he's moved down from that top lane after losing his turret, is now heading towards pushing mid. He's just going to walk through the jungle and just keep his CS coming his way, as second most CS on his team, second most CS in the game as well, as he has that pretty classic itemization for top laners. Now, Spirit Visage, Sunfire Cape, you see the same thing there on 2NBS. You'll see almost every top laner, unless it's something really weird, just go for those 2 items, start taking things up, and both as huge tanks for their game, or for their teams, here in this game number 2 will be big forms of Initiate as well. The bigger question, at least for me, is how, as Shen Ulti, do you deal with having a 0-4 Ziggs, and then rather kind of turn that question back on its head? How for Ultra Vires do you deal not with having a very strong mid laner? Because in game number 1, we actually saw an early game advantage for Shen Ulti that they didn't press quickly enough.
Yeah, it is quite the precarious situation, if you will, because as you said, they do have a 0-4 mid laner, but last game around, Mazarin had a really bad start, and then he managed to climb back and, well, pretty much wreck everything, if you will, with his clutch charms and clutch or biff deceptions even. So we're just going to have to see how H7 plays out, and if he manages to well, capitalize on the way the meta is, if you will, right now.
And there's actually going to be Mega Inferno Bomb, using that double damage that it deals now to clear out middle lane very safely for H7. He heads back to base. He's actually got a 33 CS lead now on a Mazarin, which is going to make back those kills that he is behind. Couple of big things to point out that in game number 1, Mazarin was behind. His team just wave cleared and allowed him time to catch back up in the game. That's exactly what Shen Ulti are doing right now. They are in full defensive mode. They're just trying to tank things up, keep the game as even as they can, give A7 time to catch back up. But, I mean, he zigs. What does he do? He pokes a lot, he's really annoying, he has a lot of wave clear, and regardless of where he is in the game, unless he's extremely far behind, he's still going to be able to do that. Does have a death cap with that Athene's Unholy Grail, so he's not very behind in itemization either, but is missing that Deathfire Grasp that Mazarin has just been used to do so much damage.
He is indeed. In the mid lane, MBS LoL trying to split push as fast as he humanly can, or as Rengar can, as he might be meted by Mopsio, as Mopsio might be in trouble here for himself. NBS LoL will be spawning out that ward, clearing it out. He might just go and try and put some pressure on Mopsio here, as Mopsio is looking to get reinforced by Adams. Adams gets spotted out by the ward, so NBS LoL knows this is coming, and he will be, well, keeping a keeping a safe distance, if you will. Adams might just look to land the death sentence here. Gets NBS LoL flayed back. Great death sentence. Box comes out. NBS LoL trying to get out of there desperately, but he is so slowed. And NBS LoL will use the ultimate to, well, use the invisibility and the ultimate to get out of there as fast as possible. But he has been spotted out by a ward. I don't think, however, that Mopsio can actually follow up on that. Meanwhile, in the jungle, Say gets caught, but they won't be able to kill him either.
Yeah, he's just going to go ahead and throw down Ragnarok, get out of there alive. The only problem is, oh, there's actually going to be a Mega Inferno Bomb. Is it enough? No! Smite at the very last second. Illuneer able to pick himself up a red buff. Yeah, Illuneer, man, you gotta talk about the change between games 1 and 2. He lost a buff, he lost a Baron, which I guess counts as a buff, but a much bigger buff. His smites were not looking good for game 1, but has completely turned it around. He's made up for that in spades, and now as long as he can keep Barons under his control, that is the big true test, because we saw 3 steals on that Baron buff in game number 1. Let's see if Illuneer can solidly keep that in Ultra Vires' pocket here, game number 2. It's coming out. Won't see a Baron just yet, and already we're looking for a much more passive game than we saw in game number 1.
Yeah. So, sorry. Talking about passive, we do have 4 members of Shen Ulti not being really as passive as you would expect. They are trying to make something happen here on that middle lane and maybe take down that turret. Ultra Vires, however, are looking to react to that by sending a couple of members over there. MBS LoL has been spotted out by a as he was really deep by a ward and clearing that one out. as he is doing a fair amount of sneaking around in that jungle, as we do have once again the Mega Inferno Bomb coming out to clear out that top lane, which has proven to be quite the tool, if you will, to finish off minion lanes and split push while you're not even in the lane. Dragon, or Baron rather, is being started off.
And there we go. You see a Lunir. He's right in the pit, taking down to half hit points. So it's going to have to be a little bit careful there, especially Ziggs. And I guess also honorable mention there to Mopsio will be able to just poke down Vires if they do try to contest that objective or try to start it. Little do they know, NBS, all the way over on the other side of the map, is going to go try to keep a split push down there in the bottom lane. And with single accord, it is going to be Shen Ulti who go down there not necessarily just to stop NBS, but also perfectly in time for Dragon.
Yeah, so they will be picking that Dragon up. Mazarin looking around the side to maybe make something happen here. Lands a good charm on Sei, but Sei is way too tanky for Mazarin to deal with at this point, as they might look and maybe pick someone off here, but they are too much of a coordinated unit, if you will, to actually well, pick someone off and finish them off within a couple of seconds. Corralius might be in trouble. Sonic Wave doesn't really land, doesn't land at all, and Corralius will be stunning up once again. The Mega Inferno Bomb comes out on the True Barrage, almost stealing it away from Mazarin. Will be picking that one up in the end.
And this double global wave clear ulti thing is really, really rough to deal with, because at any point in time, you can just like kill all the minions in a lane and force it to push back the other way. Bottom lane NBS has been actually doing a really good job kind of babysitting up bottom lane, keeping it pushing, continuing to be a threat there on that bottom second tier turret. And he's going to actually take this one down because there is no response from Shen Ulti.
However, Crusoe's is trying to get there as fast as possible. Now he might be trying to land the Sonic Wave. Sonic Wave comes through, doesn't quite connect on MBS Low, of course, and MBS Low might be trying and get on towards Crusoe's here. In the meantime, the rest of Ultraviers are looking to maybe bait out a Baron fight here, which would be quite dangerous for either team, if you'd ask me.
After having 3 Barons stolen in game number 1, I'm surprised either team like even think about the B word now as Team Dignitas. Well-known Baroners of their own have come to call it. Now it's going to be a push instead. I'm much more like this option here for Shen Ulti, because they have a lot of poke, a lot of siege potential. But there's the flash timber.
Yeah, Pulse in real trouble here. Gets knocked up twice, gets stunned up. Mazarin will be picking that one up right now. Sei in trouble, but he is really, really deep and really, really tanky. As Adams right now getting chased down. Culling comes out. Adams takes a lot of damage. Double kill for Mazarin right there. Looking for the triple as he gets Dragon's Rage back. Charm doesn't quite come land this time. And now Sei getting stunned up and locked up continuously. He will probably be going down. There you have it. Deadly Brother picking him up. That is a 3-4-0. They are looking to extend the kills here. But, or to increase the kills they have here, rather. But it is not looking like they will be able to do so for now.
Yeah, great fight. It was just, I think the biggest thing, Corralius, he's figured out, hey, if you stun the squishy people, they die. And adjusting that from game number 1 where he was ulting tanks with Tibbers. Tibbers, man, he likes the squishies. And he was able to take them down 5-1 and 4 score there for Mazarin, whose Arya is just dealing 1,000,000 damage. Something that probably only Sei can tank up against right now, because I mean he's pretty tanky, and he's gonna give some extra magic resistance to the rest of his team there with the Locket of the Iron Solari, but he's just not what it takes to deal up against Mazarin, who has 2 sources of damage amplification as well as the magic penetration from that Void Staff.
Alright, so for now both teams once again squaring off a little bit in that middle lane. No real action going on for now, as Mopsio and Crusoe will be backing away. Mopsio is sitting on almost 2,000 gold, which is quite a lot, of course, as he picks himself up a Blade of the Ruined King. So a lot of peel potential coming out there of him, where he will be able to slow down his pursuers if needed. And Mazarin and Corralius not really sure what they need to do, or maybe just waiting for the rest of their team. and looking for maybe a little bit of a pick there as they are standing on that river ramp, and they have shown themselves to the wards right now. Alanir trying to clear that one ward out as Mopsio will be clearing out that pink ward of his opponents.
Bottom lane, Say versus NBS. Who wins this matchup? I'm thinking it's Say. He's actually does a lot of damage here, but overthrows his axe. Now will be forced to go pick it back up and disengage. That means that we probably won't be seeing. It's gonna be that wet fish fight as they both like slap each other around down there. But as long as there are minions, there's plenty of stuff to heal back up off of. NBS gets a 300 health heal. It's actually going to be about 330 health as he does have a lot of extra health amplification. Now Crusoe's, of course, off that Baron. And the great thing about the team comp here for Ulti Vires is that it's very resilient. They can put any 4 members there in that team fight. It's actually going to be attempted engage, but talking about team fight or team composition strengths, very mobile Crusoe's, along with I guess Adams to some extent, because you can use that hook to get in and out. They want to fight. They want to force this issue, but haven't been able to find an engage all. Now Mopsio gets caught out by a Luna.
Yeah, that is going to be trouble for him if he does not manage to get out, which he does in the end. So Alanir might be trying to get over there. Assault and battery being used. Mopsio in real danger here. So do you have, of course, that slow coming down of him. Blade of the Ruined King being used right there. Travers comes in. Mopsio goes down. Corralius gets a great pick right there. Now it is a 5 versus 4 rather, as Crusoe's comes in, as does H7, and they might just try and look for some pressure on that turret, but then again the Mega Inferno Bomb just came in there and that destroyed all the minions, or killed all the minions that were trying and kill it themselves.
Bottom lane, a couple of underthrown axes from Say will mean that he needs to go back to base, but because he uses mana and NBS does not, NBS is in this bottom lane for the long haul.
Yeah, NBS might have been in trouble there if he did not see Adams coming in there in time, but he did, luckily for him. We do have Mazarin and Alanir rotating over towards the Dragon. The Dragon should not be any type of trouble for them, as they will probably be picking that one up and trying to extend their gold lead to, let's see, to around 6,000 gold. Quite a lot for this point in the game, and I was thinking, I was asking myself where the music came from, but that was the back animation, the recoil animation of Mazarin, of course.
Yeah, he likes playing the champions that play a lot of music, whether it's his AP Cho'Gath, which is still there, but also Octopus Gragas, which has a pretty cool backing song as well. NBS fighting against Say. Say's got some mana now, and NBS gets a huge heal there. Has a lot of armor and magic resistance from that battle roar, but see, Say needs a little bit of extra tankiness, as can't quite fight NBS just yet.
Yeah, but I believe he will be able to do so under the turret, as NBS Law might be in trouble here himself if Mopsio decides to come in there and gank him. He decides against it in the end because the Big Brother and Alanir have started off this Baron. Corralius is looking around the side to maybe get a stun off. Sorry?
Ignite bottom lane there, and the flash in. Damage attempted, Ghost forced out there. NBS gets one final leap from Thrill of the Hunt. Thrilling indeed, as he is able to finally take out Say. Yeah,
we do have the Mega Inferno Bomb coming down. NBS Law takes a lot of damage, but they are still going at it near the Baron. Deadly Brother forcing the flash out of Adams. This is looking to be a real danger for Shen's ultimate. If Crusoe's managed to steal this, however, they are going to turn this one around. H7 comes in, Culling comes out, doesn't quite connect either. And no real dragon kills here coming in. Never mind that, as Alanir finishes off the Mopsio, and they are trying to follow up on towards Crusoe's. Crusoe's gets a good safeguard off, will be able to survive from the Ignite, and he gets a good Sonic Wave and Resonating Strike as well. Alanir not quite done with the amp, as NBS is trying to hammer down the inhibitor, and he will be able to do so in the end.
So epic escape there from Crusoe's, but in the end, I feel like they just stretched Shen ulti way too low. Now, NBS, he's looking to chase here in on to Crusoe's. Can he find him out? He's chasing him back the other way, and Crusoe's, he's going to chill out here for a second.
Yeah, he knows what's coming. Uses a good Dragon's Race, though. Doesn't quite die yet. And there you have it. Ladies and gentlemen, the GG's being called. Ultra Vires taking game number 2, and they will be advancing to the quarterfinals of the EU West Challenger Series qualifications.
All right, that is going to do it. And somewhat anticlimactic, rather, surrender there at the very end. But to be honest, it's 15-7, and with going up on a 10,000 gold lead, incredibly dominant performance there from X Gaming Gear EU, their roster that's been there for a while now, called Ultra Vires. They will be moving on to the round of 8 qualifications for the EU West Challenger Series. So a lot of teams wanting to make it through all the way. Not all of them will, and so it's nice to see Ultra Vires one step closer to the US Challenger Series.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that is it for the the EU West Challenger Series for today, and we will be heading over to the Infused Cup. Is that right?
No, not anymore. Since that was supposed to start earlier already, so they we said we'll skip that and go to the finals of the Infused Cup tomorrow.
All right, cool.
Sorry.
I was just going to give a little bit of an update. That does mean that this is the last thing for us today. We will be casting the grand finals of the Infused Cup coming up tomorrow, so expect to see that a little bit later on tomorrow. But as far as today, that is going to do it for our broadcast. You did see a 2-0 victory for Ultra Vires over Shen Ulti. Some incredible games, great play across the board. And I think that is all for us today. But that is not all for Chaos TV, as not only will we be coming back tomorrow, but make sure not to miss the action. You can make sure to stay up on everything for Chaos TV by following the stream right down below in the lower right-hand corner. Right, I'm pointing at it right now, but you obviously can't see that. You can also follow Chaos TV on Twitter at Chaos TV. And if you're on Twitter, you might as well hit up a follow towards myself and my wonderful co-caster Nature. You can follow myself at Rapid Casting on Facebook, Twitter, and anywhere on the internet. Nature, where can they follow you?
You can follow me on Twitter at LucasNature, and that is pretty much the only social media platform I use. So if you liked my cast, or if you did not like it, do remember that I am still very much trying.
Be gentle.
I'm still very much trying to get into the nitty-gritty of it and learn whatever I need to learn, as I do realize I'm not yet where I'd need to be. So you can hit me up on at LucasNature on Twitter, and that pretty much does it for today.
So thank you very much for watching. Do hope you guys enjoyed the show. If you did, well, make sure to tune it back in here tomorrow for the grand finals of the Infused Cup. But on behalf of myself, Nature, and all of us here at Chaos TV, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
And you're off.